Hello. In part 1, we learn how to shoot out a projectile that can damage any NPC. Today we will learn how to add NPC drops that can be consumed for health, and we'll set up energy or mana to limit the player's shooting rate. If you haven't watched part 1, click on this notification on the screen to learn all this in just 9 minutes. And if you have, well, let's dive deep into our next part. Okay, so I have these awesome bones that I made for another game. If you don't have something similar, you can find other default assets provided by this sandbox, for example, skeleton or dino bones, just for learning purposes. I will place a lot of bones in one spot, then select them all and set collisions plus gravity. The collisions and tension between each object will cause them to kind of explode and give that nice dynamic effect. Look, if I click play, it should explode right away. Now, select all bones and add a collectible component. Inside its logic settings, let's set is droppable and is consumable to true. The message on consumption should be set to heal and broadcast to all. So once we collect and consume it in our inventory, it will send the message heal. Now select all your bones and create a preset. Let's call it bone drop. Now you can remove these bones from your land. Click on the enemy NPC and add a drop component. Select the preset and pick bone drop from the list. Now, whenever your NPC is destroyed, it will spawn a nice cluster of bones that can be collected and consumed. To actually make those consumables heal our avatar, we need additional broadcaster. So place a numpad anywhere on your land, name it consumable healing. Now add a message broadcaster behavior, enter its logic settings, and in message to send type health, which should be displayed in blue, by the way. Set health points. I went with 4. Now set the broadcast type to specific tags in range. Make the broadcast range pretty wide to detect our avatar wherever it is. The broadcast tag should be set to avatar and the duration can be set to 1. An important detail: you must slide wait before broadcast to true and add heal message in the message required field. Now, do you remember that just a second ago we set up a heal message on the bones? When you pick up and consume a bone, it will output a heal message that will trigger the health message, sending 4 health to the avatar. Okay, so now let's test our drop mechanic and see if it works. Great, it seems to work. Look how nicely those bones just spin in the air. It's time to work on our final function, mana consumption. Open game rules. If you completed part 1, you should have these 2 key input rules on your board. If not, please watch part 1 before completing this tutorial. In message to send on button down, you need to replace shoot 1 with start logic 1. In part 1, we used the right mouse button to directly shoot a projectile with the shoot 1 message. Now we'll need to create a longer chain to verify our mana consumption. Go to rules, then game screen, and click on HeyUD. A new logic box will pop up. In the message required field, type start mana. Now where is this message coming from anyways? Okay, go back to our previously made pickable aura unit. Add a speaker component inside the settings of the aura. Set display duration to 0. Always on top and look at target should be set to false, and the speak condition is going to be wait for message. Message required, activate. And message to send, start mana. Set broadcast type to rules. Now, once you pick up your aura unit, it will activate your HUD because we are detecting the avatar and sending. Now go back to game rules. Choose a desired location for your mana display in HUD settings. I'll go with the upper left corner. Once you click on that tiny pencil, it will open edit settings. Click on variable and create a new number variable called mana or energy. Make it local and use number integer. Give it a name, pick an icon to display next to the name. I'll set size to M for better visibility. Progress bar and value should be set to show, and for type I went with percentage, but you can pick any numeric expression. Soft limits define the range of your variable, but they can be altered inside the game. Click on rules again and find the math section and click on add subtract number continuously. Okay, that's some serious logic block right there, but fear not, my friend, it isn't complicated. Let's input the same start mana message as we did in the HUD logic rule. We need a time variable to store the time, so click on variable and create a new variable. Make it local, name it mana impulse, and select formatting, just go with 00.00. In this duration section, you're controlling the rate at which your mana will increase, so 1 represents 1 second. In number variable, select previously created mana. In value change, you're basically saying this amount of mana, meaning that every 1 second your mana will increase by 2 points. You can change that to whatever numbers you want. Set minimum value to 0 and maximum value to 100 so it stops growing once it gets to 100. Okay, now we got a HUD that displays our mana bar, and we got a math operation that generates 2 mana every 1 second once I pick up this aura. Cool! That's actually cool. But how can I consume mana with my magic bullets and make sure it doesn't go below 0, or when I click the mouse button and my projectile doesn't shoot because of a 1 second asset spawner delay, yet my mana is drained already? Well, let's tackle that really quickly. We will cover all the holes, don't worry. So inside game rules, click on rules, comparisons, compare numbers. Message should be set to start logic 1. Notice it's coming from our previous logic box called mouse inputs. Number variable to compare set to mana, and condition is greater than or equal. Keep it at a fixed value and now decide how much mana does it cost to shoot 1 magic bullet. I'll go with 5. Leave comparison duration to once, and message to send must be shoot 1 because it triggers the main asset spawner that holds the projectile. So basically right now we are comparing if our mana is greater or equals 5, and if positive it will send shoot 1 message. If it's below 5 it won't do anything. What a great function this is. I'm literally programming with text. Okay, the last thing we need to set in game rules is to make sure every shot we make reduces our mana. Right? We really want to make sure it costs 5 mana. Select rules, go to math, and pick simple math rule. In the message field, type eat mana 1. Well, where is this coming from, huh? I'll show you in a second. Operand 1 should be set to variable mana. Operator set to subtract, which means we need to subtract a number from the mana variable. And operand 2 defines what amount we will subtract when the eat mana 1 message is received. We already decided in the comparisons rule that it will be 5 points, so add 5 right there. In the result section, pick the mana variable. If you try to test this out, it will not work because we don't know where the eat mana 1 message is coming from. Let's set it up real quick. Go to your main editor and find presets in the asset library. Pick shoot 1, place it on the map, click, and add a trigger volume component. Enter logic settings. Detection type must be set to every avatar in range. You can pick whatever, it's sphere or rectangle detection shape. I'll leave it at sphere. Type 2 in the range section and add eat mana 1 in the enter message section. Exit message should be set to none and keep broadcast type to all and duration to once. Now, every time you're going to click the mouse button, it will spawn a projectile which detects your avatar nearby and sends a message, "Eat mana 1" to your game rules. That's how it will going to interact with the game rule we previously set. Now we can test our creation. If everything we did was set up correctly, we now have a fully working system with mana and healing consumables which can be collected from a wolf or a gorilla. Just by watching 10, 15, 20-minute tutorials on GameMaker, you will expand your knowledge exponentially, and one day you'll find yourself making incredible games, be it on PC or on mobile. Thank you, as always, it was me, Gigas. See you on the next one.